Hey, good day. This is John Wilson from Flint Talk Radio, and today again we have with us Anthony Martin, psychic medium. Or well, now you prefer the title. I'm sorry. What title you usually use, Anthony?
Well, psychic medium is fine. The spiritual medium, I kind of like that a little better. I don't know. I just do by it that, and it don't really mean much. But
Okay, so I'll use that then. Anyway, spiritual medium. Okay. Anyway, we had a show a few weeks ago, and we got some pretty good results on those readings, Anthony. I mean, there was I wish we could play them side by side. I didn't think of actually downloading them and see if I could play clips, but you nailed stuff that was very, very much on target, and there was no way that anybody could accuse you of having prior knowledge. I mean, during the interview with my sister, during your reading with my sister, I should say, during the interview, you brought up the fact that somebody had a pet tarantula or pet big spider. Yeah, big spider, you called it, and there was no way you could have known that that was our family pet, and then there was no way that you could have known a lot of this stuff. I mean, there's definitely, it shows to me that, I guess for lack of a better term, you have some kind of connection, or people do, or the departed, the deceased, have a desire to come and speak with you. So how well, during that interview and during the reading, what would you actually hear? Would you actually hear voices, or would you see images, or something like that? How does this work for you?
well, I don't really say I hear voices because if you say that, then you're going to be sitting down with a psychiatrist, kind of similar to psychic. But no, basically what I do is I'll sometimes hear my own voice through thought, and I'll see images what they're showing me. And a lot of times because every energy, there's strong energy. We all come from a form of an energy. Someone has a heart attack and they collapse or something and they don't breathe. What is the first thing they try to do aside from CPR? They hit you with the pads, and that in turn is energy. And that's exactly what I'm tuning into. Some energy stronger than others. But some people can actually, they'll poke fun at you. They're always around you. Some people you never even thought wouldn't be around you are around you. Now, what I find fascinating is last night I had something coming through to me regarding the show today. And then I totally forgot about it until you were hooking up the mic and getting this prepared for the show. And it was about a listener, and it even could be somebody in your studio, that is father trying to connect to his son because his father died suddenly of a heart attack. Now, that can relate to just about anybody. So I don't want anybody just reaching out and grabbing it. If anything else comes in that I get, that's all I ask is anybody just to validate it if that in turn is accurate.
Okay.
That being said,
Yeah, you're kind of fading in and out there, Anthony. Are you walking around because your signal's kind of getting weak and back and forth? It's kind of dropping and rising. So, yeah.
how am I now?
We'll try a little bit weak. So see if you can get to. You were fine when we first started. I don't want to lose your signal there.
All right, let's try something here.
Okay, it
How
sounds
about
good.
now?
It sounds good now. Yeah, so we'll try to keep
Okay,
it there.
so
Okay.
this is where I'm going to stand. Okay, here we go.
All right. So anyway, yeah, Kara was in there too during the last show, and you got images, or you got information about her, and it was very accurate about the children that were departed. That are with us now. And also, one of her friends was with her, and you were picking up stuff from one of his relatives about furnace and everything else, Mark and the furnace. I mean, I wish like I said, as we were talking before this, I wish I'd even thought of loading up and converting the other show into so I could play the clips of it, because you're dead on. I'd say around 90% accuracy. I mean, roughly thinking. I mean, you missed some areas, or because of maybe the imagery you were reading it wrong. But I mean, that I would say is way above the probability stage that you're hitting stuff on. So I mean, I was quite impressed.
Well, and the thing behind it is, it's like what I find fascinating in doing this is that it's truly 100% out of love. Yes, I'd like to do this as a profession, and I've done it for so many people. Just off the top of my head to do it if it's there. And I find that the main objective that the other side comes through to people is just to simply let them know that they love them and they're with them and they're watching them every step of the way. And that's all it's about. And I believe it's about forgiveness and understanding. And, I don't want to get all into different religious sections and all that. I was raised Catholic, and I don't believe it has anything to do with any form of religion. It's just that we all are connected in one way or another.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I have a tendency to believe that. I mean, there's like, I'm a skeptic and I'm a cynic in many ways, but also I've seen stuff I just simply can't explain. And I have friends who are severely skeptical, and they kind of guffaw at any kind of experience you try to relate to them because they just simply can't deal with it. They just don't want to admit the possibility. And
well, listen to this. Of course, you knew, and this would make me wonder if this didn't happen. But during the show, your mom is coming through again, and she kind of like she did the last time, as I recall, on November 15th on the last show. I remember that I was talking and saying how this all started and everything, and she interrupted to get to the point because she wanted on. And they'll do that sometimes. They're okay, we had enough, now we want to talk. And that's what's happening now. Because I can relate. Yesterday, a couple days ago, I had went to the hospital because I had some upper respiratory issues, and my daughter had taken me. My oldest daughter was 3. I have 3 kids: Jennifer, Alyssa, and Brandon. And my daughter Jennifer took me, and it was amazing that my mom, who recently passed in July 10th, God rest her soul, she was coming through, and she's always around my daughter like you wouldn't believe. And I see that as a way of my mom's way of saying to her, "Thank you for always being there for her son, and likewise for me for her daughter." But now, as I was talking, and you were talking about, how they just come in, your mom was telling me just recently to talk to you about the right knee problem. Somebody just recently, she was like referring to you. But if this isn't you, it's got to be to the male side immediate circle about the right knee problem. Somebody just injured or hurt their knee recently?
Okay, as in the past year or so, a lot of my knee joint has been getting kind of more.
Okay, well, it has to be the right knee, though.
Right, yeah, it is. It is. It's.
Okay,
yeah.
then that could be just a way of acknowledging that. Hold on. She's also telling me to talk to you about the roof. The roof. Has there been talks of replacing the roof or doing something to the roof?
No, but that's very accurate there. I mean, the imagery, because that's been a big dilemma for me right now, trying to find the money to get a new roof put on the house that I'm at now, which was their house.
Well, that's your mom's way of acknowledging, again, she's taken this opportunity to come to you to let you know she is with you again. And again, what I really enjoy in doing this is when last week the tarantula came up, what I found fascinating amongst everything I do, and I know in my heart that it is out of love, because you said it best when I told you your mom was talking about the tarantula. You said to me, and I quote, you said, "My mom was not really too keen with that tarantula. However, she knew how much I loved that tarantula." Therefore being, what better way to come on the air to say, "Here, son, I know you love this very much. This is for you." And that's what it's about. I mean, I've done numerous readings, and the joys that come out of it, I find that when I'm giving these readings, you're not the only one getting them. If they know people, let's say I'm talking to you and your next door neighbor, for example, son died or daughter died, they can actually come through to me, to come through to you, because they know you're a link to them to get that information to them, to let them know the situation. A lot of people that are skeptic, they don't figure out what's the thing behind that. It makes no sense. Well, it does, because it shows that in life we all are human beings. We all have our faults and frailties and so on and so forth. But what they show on the other side is, look, physically we left you, but spiritually we're still with you. We're going to watch every step of the way. That's how I believe we're all connected in one way or form or another. And it's a wonderful, cherishable gift that I enjoy doing, and I watch the smiles it puts on so many people's faces.
Now, that seems like to be a reward enough as it is. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I think that let's face it, to bring, when you're talking about, why would somebody come through somebody else, and, some skeptics will use that as dismiss people, claims of, there's the other side. But let's face it, if you knew that one of your friends is going to see another mutual friend, you'd say, "Hey, tell Joe I said hi." I mean, there's no real difference in that. I mean, that the core of our humanity is that thing called humanity. I mean, we're basically, we don't really change our forms. I mean, we become probably better in our form in another point, another plane of existence. I mean, we're more perfected, as Scripture would say, as Christian Scripture says, and other scriptures kind of hold that too. That in another realm we become perfected human beings rather than these.
Right.
There's acknowledgement too of the original. There's something wrong with what we are now. I mean, there's something amiss, and it could be changed. So I mean, and that's like It's an interesting idea though that that these people can go through you to talk to other people, because I mean I think there's.
Let me interject if you real quick, John, but another spirit is trying to come through, and the person is acknowledging for a person by the name of Jack, and there's the acknowledgement of 3 sons connected to Jack, and that this father left very suddenly and left us 3 boys. And one of the boys he's acknowledging is Andy. So it could be obviously a listener that's listening out there. This would have to connect to them. And I stress very highly that a skeptic says anybody can connect to anything and reach and grab. That's why I interject to say make sure you don't reach and grab just anything you choose to. Make sure things link together. And, for example, like when I sit there and brought the tarantula out for you, and then your sister was in there, and I brought up how your mom was telling me she was with her and her family because of the 2 pizzas that were uncooked. The odds of me hitting that are astronomical. I'd have a better chance of hitting the Powerball. And that's not about that. It just shows them how I know genuinely I'm connecting with the other side to give the messages to the people. I'm no better than anybody else, I believe. It's just I just am able to access it, you know, and I'm open to it. And being that I'm open to it, to give that information out to them people, you know, it's just a wonderful thing.
You know, it struck upon me because a lot of times critics and cynics will say, try to dismiss the idea of psychics or mediums as like, well, if they're so damn good at what they're doing, why can't they get the next few lottery tickets and, you know, the winning ones? And I just happen to think, well, those are all randomly chosen, so no human living or dead would know the outcome on those. So how would they know?
The reason behind that is, John, the reason why, because on the other side, it's not about money. It's not about money. So why give someone the riches for something that it's not about that? If that was the case, then make everybody rich. It's not. The main reason they come through is out of love.
Right. See,
it's hard to get love and money. It's hard to match love and money together. You can have money and have love, but unless it's genuine, you don't even get it that way. But I will also add, your mom. Hold on a second. She's telling me. Did you recently, I don't know why she'd bring this up, she's telling me talk about, you know how you got like Colby cheese or something? It's a circular type of cheese, uncut. She's telling me to talk about this cheese. Did you just recently look at some cheese or talk about getting some cheese?
No, but actually, that's really weird that we brought that up. Years ago, my family went to a food auction, basically, that's what it was. And they purchased a huge wheel of extra sharper than sharp cheese, cheddar cheese. And it was like 20 some pounds. It was in a circle. Yeah, it was a wheel. You know, it was a wheel of cheese. It was in one of those wooden boxes. They paid like $30 some for it, but it was like a massive amount of cheese. And
was this a family outing?
It was a family outing. Yeah, we're all at the family. We're all me, my sister, my mom and dad, and a couple of our friends. We're out this cheese. I mean, it's basically they're selling food items, and it was way out in the country somewhere. It was a little bit, you know, further outside of Flint, and I think it was called Simon's, and it was food. They now have a grocery store, but they sold food there, and it was a food auction. And this wheel of cheese came up on it was several. I mean, it was, you know, so you buy one and somebody get the whole, you know, if you got a good price on it, then, you know, that they would have several and you could buy several at that same price per wheel. Well, anyway, we bought this, God, it was like 20 or 30 pounds of cheese. It was massive. I mean, it was huge.
Well, let me tell you, there's 2 things she's acknowledging here, and the second one I'm saving the best for last because it's a poke fun, and if this matches, this is amazing. But which I know it will. But the first thing she's telling me is to talk to you about your sister. I know it ain't me, hoping that I feel better from my upper respiratory thing, but she's telling me to tell your sister that her throat will get better soon. There's something about your sister's throat that she's having some issues with, but your mom is acknowledging this. So you need to check with her if you're unaware of it, just to see where that's at.
Right.
And the other thing she's asking, she's telling me, did you recently talk to someone, whether it be on the air or not, that was about a man, and this is strange, but she spoke in front of this like it was a funny thing that was just not ordinary, and that is a man dancing around similar in like a bikini format. I don't know what the heck she's talking about here, but she's talking about this.
No, that one has drawn a blank on me. I don't, you know, I mean, I can't recall any of that imagery or talking to anybody about that kind of scenario. So, I mean, that kind of,
the only thing I can connect with that is that check with, again, your sister, because I was with your sister last on the throat. Maybe she recently saw something, and this is with her, that she's trying to give your sister a reading as well, as she did when your sister was in the studio a few weeks ago.
Right. So, well, I could just pass this link on to her after the show is recorded and see what she has to say about that. I told her to listen for that and see if that connects with anything she's experienced. I mean, I'm not dismissing. I mean, we're close in a lot of ways, but we don't talk about our days totally because, I mean, it just gets hectic and chaotic.
Your mom's also telling me to talk about the blue parakeet. somebody had the blue parakeet, she's got the parakeet with them.
Wow. Oh, she's got the parakeet there. My sister's currently got a parakeet, but I don't know if I forgot that. That's I forget. I think it is blue, but I think she's had other blue ones. I mean, you know, she's had a lot of birds.
That's okay. But that's, see, now notice the first thing was discussed about your sister, about the first two things that I discussed about, along with this. See how it's all, again, your sister with the birds. She's trying to give your sister a reading here. That's what she's doing. She wants to give her something.
Okay.
And by saying the birds, I think concludes, now I know she's talking about your sister. First it was the throat, then it was the bikini man in the bikini. I don't know what the heck that was, and poking fun at it. Led me to believe it was something on your show, but if it wasn't, then it's got to be something close to her and you, which would mean if it's not you, it's got to be your sister. That's got to be a one of it. And, hold on. And your mom is telling me to talk to you. Recently, did you have a discussion with someone about Texaco? The only thing Texaco, it reminds me of an old, a gas station.
Well,
what's with Texaco?
Nope, that's that one. I remember that. I don't remember a Texaco station around here growing up. I remember a Gulf station, a couple of them in Sinclair's, but I can't remember in Tulsa. Tulsa,
no,
yeah.
This is from a long time ago.
Yeah, see, I can't. That's.
Yeah. Need to believe that this is something that was either discussed recently or talked to someone, and again, that was just showing her way of presence that she was with them. And also, your sister just made Christmas cookies. Anybody can make Christmas cookies, but your mom is giving me the notion that she did a good job on these things. There's something about these recent Christmas cookies, and especially one being a Christmas tree. Again, that can be anything. But my point is that it's not something your sister usually does. Well, that's why it's standing out.
Well, another thing is too, my mom was very critical of baked goods because she and her mom both were. Her mom was a confectionery chef, and then my mom was a very accomplished baker. She baked cakes and wedding cakes and stuff like that. So
wait a minute, who's the professional baker?
What'd you say?
Wait, who was the professional baker? You said
my nearly professional. It was my grandmother. My mom's mom was actually a confectionery chef. She made desserts, and she made candies. You know, she made stuff out of sweets.
Connected to this, I want to be sure where I'm at here. They're telling me to say Lily. Lily. What is Lily connected to your grandmother with the cookies? And if
you know what, the only thing is I can remember about my grandmother, because I was 9 years old when she died. She was killed in a car crash. The only thing I can remember is my grandmother's favorite flower, if I can recall correctly, was a lily of valley. I mean,
well, then the only thing I can connect with that, we said the cookies. I was trying to direct them to your sister, but if you said, and then I tried to understand it with your mom, it turned out to be your grandmother, who was a chef, and then to verify that it's coming from your grandma, Lily. That was her favorite flower. And it's funny how to see how that stood out. You remember that at 9 years old. Now, I'd like to ask you this. Very important. A lot of skeptics says, well, were you thinking that when I come up with that? Were you thinking about the Lily when I was talking about the chef? Did you think of Lily at all at any place or no?
No, I mean, that's like, it's
and
like,
that's what I thought. Because no one ever does. That's the next thing that comes to mind. So that would be your mom's way of acknowledging she brought through your grandmother. Because I don't think your grandmother came through the last time, but she came through this time.
Actually, she was like she was 59, I think, when she was killed in this car accident, and she and my grandfather just moved out to a house, and they were just there for about a year before she was killed, and so I always felt that she, the impression I always got that she had a lot of work that she was left undone because of her untimely death. And so, I mean, but she, the Lilies of the Valley, she also, she was big into the Lilies of the Valley. I mean, my mom and her used to talk about that, all the flowers that are available, at that time, and she preferred the ones that just came up around here in the springtime, and those are the Lilies of the Valley. I mean, to me, they're one of the best smelling.
That's significant. Now, see, here's the thing. Connected to your grandma, because I believe I'm still with her, because we're still on the subject of what we're talking about. She is telling me to talk about the fire. Now, there had been a fire a long time ago, and she's acknowledging the two kids, which leads me to believe the two kids died in this fire. Again, it doesn't have to be family originated. It could be something in the circle where you would be aware of it, or it could investigate to see where this is coming from.
The only one I can recall, the two children, it was actually more than that, but two that I can recall it was a pastor that church I attended. See, my mom was a Hungarian, and it was a very small parish, and he had a fire that it was right here in this area that he was living at, and a fire claimed at least 2 children because it was a set of
Okay,
twins.
hold on. Don't tell me no more. 'Cause I want to see if this is where we're going. I just want you to validate. If there's something on the other side coming through with this, and again, how often do you talk to the pastor?
Oh, he's gone. He's been dead for about better part of 20 years now.
Okay, now here it could be then. This could be him coming through now. I got to validate from him that this is him coming through, and your grandmother could have brought him through. Let me see now. Connected to this pastor, and I know your name is John, but they're telling me John. Where does John come in?
Well, that possibly,
Connected to
that could be a possibility of, it was a small church, and so a lot of family members went there, and I had another cousin named John that went to the same church.
He's telling me to talk to you, if this is him, that in the actual pews of the church, one of the pew either wasn't on right, and it kept, how did he describe it? He's making me feel like the thing, it wasn't on track. Do you recall a pew in there that you guys would sit on or whatever, and it would always move around? It was never locked down or cemented down.
There was one up by the front that I think that was actually kind of wobbled a little bit. That's the only thing I can recall.
Okay, now that's let me see if you can give me more, because I want more from him if this is him. He's also telling me to acknowledge Mark. Mark is very significant here. And hold on. He's also telling me to talk about 79. Either he was 79 when he passed. 1979 is significant to him. Or July 9th. So when I get the numbers, that's why I got to break them down. That's all I can do when they give me that.
That's not July 9th. I got to check, Anthony, but that might be very significant to him because I can't remember the date, but his wife passed away. It was in the summer, and it was very hot. And and it was like very humid. And
all right, who's Roberta to him?
what do you say?
Because they're telling me Roberta. Who is Roberta?
See, I wouldn't know that one. That name, I know one Roberta in my life, and that was my parents' friend.
No.
So.
This has to be connected to him.
Yes,
So,
I have no idea.
You may not know it, but this is directed to him. So let me see where else. I want to make sure that I got him. I'm not convinced yet that it is him. Even though there was a fire, the kids, yes, I understand that. And yeah, the pew, one of the pews was offset. Okay, I want more. Let me see if they can give me more here, and we'll see if that's just coming through here. He's telling me to talk to you about, now, I don't know what kind of church this was. I don't know what kind of, how it was preached, how it was, but he's telling me to talk about the crucifix coming down. Not falling down, but someone brought it down, took it down. Do you have any idea why he's saying that?
No, because this was a very plain church. It was just, there's no ornamentation really allowed in there because they were kind of a store. Yeah.
I got to see why he's showing me that, if I do have him. And he's also telling me to acknowledge Gary. He was very significant here. There's a Gary significant name he's acknowledging. You with me?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just listening. I'm just waiting for you.
Okay, I thought I lost you. Let me see here. But I'll leave that with you, because I don't like if the energy is not coming through strongly, or if it's a little weak, I'm not going to press with it. If it comes more, I'm just going to leave that with you on that subject.
Right.
And we'll see here, because it appears like your mom is trying to come through again. She allowed a few people to come forward ahead of her. Let's see what your mom has here again. She's telling me you recently fixed a chair, did something with the chair in the living room or something with the chair. Do you understand that?
Yeah, it's like there's something going on with the chair, so yeah, it's
Recently.
yeah, recently, yep.
Okay, because she was with you for that. She's telling me to talk to you about this. Yeah, your mom is good. One thing I like about your mom, when she wants to get the voice across, she's nice enough to let people come through, but she's also saying, enough, I want my turn. And that's exactly how I feel her personality. I don't know how she was like that over when she was alive, but she makes me the kind of thing. She's very nice, but she's also very assertive verbally. Like when she wants to speak, she's going to speak. I don't know if she was like that over here, but she's like that over there.
She was very much like that here. I mean, she was a very polite individual, but if she was ticked off at you, you definitely knew about it. So, I mean, I could just say she let you know. She wasn't a shrinking violet, I mean, she was going to let you know. So.
And she's also telling me to talk about the white rabbit. The white rabbit.
Well, we had
Hold
a
on.
okay.
And she says you were discussing with somebody recently about calendars, about going over the calendars. Do you understand that?
Calendars, you said?
Something going over calendars, like the dates, the calendars, something significant about. But she's specifying calendars.
Well, maybe just because it's the beginning of next year. Maybe she's.
Yeah, no. This makes me feel like that. Right, but the significant part would be is if you just received calendars today or yesterday, then that would be significant because that's her way of bringing that up that she was there. And she's, hold on. She's showing me a guitar, but that's not telling me nothing. Anybody can have a guitar. You might have one when you were younger, but I must have not caught her fast enough by thought to see what she was trying to say. Hold on. She's stepping back for a second because I have a feeling they're bringing a little boy forward. Now, this may be either to you or your sister. It could be to one of the many viewers that are listening out there. She's acknowledging about a little boy that is in clutches. This boy could have been no more, I want to say, based on the way I'm being shown, about between 8 and 9, tops, and he died in a car accident. But he's showing me crutches, so it leads me to believe either he died afterwards, and he's acknowledging Mary and Michael. So that would mean to me that someone lost a son in a car accident, and says 62, so June 2nd is significant. The age 62 wouldn't make no sense to the kid or to the parents based on how I'm getting this. So it's got to be June 2nd, connected to him. And he has two sisters. And connected to one of the sisters, there's a Carol, as in Carolyn Carol. And there's also acknowledgement to Maxine. So it's Carolyn, Maxine, and the boy. And I was killed in a car accident. And he was showing me crutches, coming through us with crutches. So if that's any one of the viewers that are listening out there, that's for you.
I see a possible connection in the neighborhood because there was a next door neighbor, and her name was Maxine. And prior to her moving into the neighborhood, she had several children. I mean, that I'd never met, and there was a few of them that did. There's 2 or 3 of them, I think, that passed away before they moved here. But I mean, I only knew one of her sons, and eventually he passed away too. But she had several. She had more daughters. But I mean, she had kids from another relationship.
Where does Charles come in? If you remember, where does Charles? They're saying Charles.
See that in the same house before that Maxine moved in there was a Charles who lived there. And he just passed away a few years ago.
Now, is he gone too? Because I'm not getting that he's coming through, but he could, and they'd just be yelling his name out along with to understand the story in the circle here.
Yeah, I believe. See, that family moved out of the area, and so. But I believed I did hear that he had passed away a couple of years ago.
All right, connected to Charles, he's saying GMC. So that leads me to believe not that he owned a GMC, that he worked at GMC. There's a General Motors connection to Charles.
Yeah, Charles was a GM employee. I mean, back.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's him.
Yeah,
he
was.
I got him.
Yeah, I said
because he's telling me GMC, and it's Charles. He's also hold on. He's telling me to talk to you about the buck, the dollar. He's poking fun at you about the dollar. What's with the dollar?
That one I don't know. I don't recall ever talking about a dollar. So I mean, he was like,
no. He's making me feel like either he gave you a dollar, or there was a joke about a dollar with him. Now, you may not know right off the bat. It may can't come to you later, but he is acknowledging that. But see, this is why I know I caught him, because after saying Maxine and bringing the kids forward, then Charles, well, this is the same guy that was brought in. That was the guy that lived before them. But then to clarify that it's Charles, GMC. He was a GMC employee. That's what I like, because that's a hit there. That means I connected with that one gentleman to come through.
Yeah, because he's. I think he has been gone. Like I said, I mean, the last time the family, you hear stuff, coming back to the neighborhood and saying, oh yeah, so and so, remember him? Well, he passed away, or they're living in Florida, but yeah, I believe I heard that he had passed away. I know that his first wife dead because she lived in that house, you know, and he used to, you know, and yeah. So, but like I said, that's just odd that you bring all this up because I mean, there's several people that I can think of that would be, you know, I just remember vague stories about other children passing away. I didn't know what they died of or
Right.
what kind of
Well,
illnesses
let me ask
before
you
they
this,
moved
because
here.
your mom, again, she wants the front here, so I got to give it to mom. Let her come forward here. She's telling me to talk to you. Hold on. She gave it to me, and now I just lost it. Forgive me, Mama. Give it back to me here. She just gave me some when you were talking, and I usually keep it in my subconscious, but I lost it. Let me see what she's going to say here. She wanted to bring something up forward here. Oh, here we go. She gave it back to me. This is definitely a hit. When I get this, it's got to be a smack on the noggin. She told me, did you recently have an issue with a bunch of your wires in the studio? They were all tangled up more than the norm. You were something got all tangled up recently.
Um, well, there was an incident where I missed wires on me. It wasn't like electrical,
Recently.
but it was just, you know, just the past couple days. Yeah, so it was
Okay.
like,
Now she's also telling me. Hold on. Now, I know we brought this up the last time about Randy, or there was an acknowledgement about the microwave. I remember saying that, but she's telling me to talk about the microwave again. What is with the microwave? Was there an issue with the microwave? Someone talked about getting the microwave. What's with the microwave?
yeah, I did mention that to my sister that I'm probably going to replace the one that was down at the house that I moved into, which had been my mom and dad's house. I just brought up about a
Recently.
week. Yeah, oh yeah, it was just about 4 days ago.
Okay, now see how that a lot of times when I do these readings, you're always with a sibling or a niece or a nephew. Your mom was there when you were talking, or she was visiting you too when discussion was done.
Mm.
Let me see what else she's got. One thing about your mom, she don't have a problem talking to me. She stepped back for a second because I'm waiting for her to come through again. All right, this is significant. She's telling me to talk to you. I mean, any kid can blow bubbles now. But the significance to this, she's telling me to talk about the one that blew the biggest bubble. We're talking about water bubbles, if you remember them. Why is she showing me these huge water bubbles?
That one, yeah, just that one. That I mean, that you know, like that kind of that there's nothing that sparks my memory on that one. So I don't know.
Unless now, not only so much your sister, but someone in the family, she's acknowledging someone was extremely, extremely above average and very good at blowing huge, humongous bubbles.
Well, my sister. I mean, one time, my sister was blowing a bubble one time, and she was sitting in the seat in the car seat, you know, in the seat of the car next to my dad, and he was jokingly, he poked at it, and it basically deflated. And, you know, the gum was now wrapped around his finger, and he was like,
Yeah.
and Kathy just let it go. Then she goes, "Okay, you got it." You know, so he had to throw the gum out. Yeah.
That's not it, because this isn't gum. This is actually one of them, like soapy waters that you blow big
Oh.
bubbles. And this is a huge thing. They used to got bigger with the rings, and you could dip them into a little bit of a pot dish and then put it up,
You,
and then you could blow it. That's what she's showing me.
Oh, well, my mom did like blowing bubbles, and my niece, Courtney, the one, she's 20 years old now. She was like 9 when 9 or 10 when my mom died. My mom died 10 years ago. Close to 10 years. Anyway, that was one thing they did when my mom would come over to my sister's house, is my niece and my mother would go out there and blow bubbles out in the side yard. You know, I mean, so my mother always did.
Somebody just recently connected to your mom. She's telling me that they just folded up her obituary card. Didn't throw it away, but opened it up, looked at it, but folded it up literally to the point where it was just folded up. I mean, into a small little paper thing, but it's folded up. Do you know anybody that in the circle that you know that just recently went over your mom's obituary card?
No,
And which way?
no, I can't. No, I can't call that one. No, but I mean,
check with your family again. Now you're not going to be the only one
Right,
with your sister
right.
getting a reading. It could be someone in the immediate circle here. She's acknowledging, and a few other stories that I was bringing up earlier. Clearly, on my cognizance, made me believe that there was other people out there that are viewing that were getting these readings. And again, it all depends. I tell people don't reach for something that isn't there. But again, the best thing, amongst a few things I said this afternoon, one of the things I like the best is I go back to accuracy and who they're talking about. So it's not a reach, pick here, pick there for something. But when you say Charles, connected to that house, and you say GMC, that's perfect. I like that. That lets me know right there that I connected with that person regarding that. So what I'm saying is all the readings that when I give, try to see where they're going, connect them, and make sure that there's no reach. And like I tell them, don't reach for something that isn't there because it's not. Then it takes away from what I do and for what it's about.
Well, see, what struck me, as being true is because the name Maxine is not that common of a name in this current era. So, I mean, it's like something not prevalent, being discussed
Right.
as the name Maxine. So, I mean, and the odds of you knowing that I knew somebody named Maxine, I've only known one Maxine personally in my entire life, and that was her. So, I mean, I know Maxine Walters, the one that, the what's congressman, but that's...
Hey, did you just recently eat, for the first time in a while, I talked to your sister, but your mom is very good when she shows me a picture of something, and she's showing me Ruffles potato chips.
That was about a month ago. That was about a month ago, and I haven't had them in about several years. So.
See, that's another hit like Charles and GMC.
Right.
The reason I say that is because you said what you said. Well, I always eat them. Well, I would have to say you would eat them more than anything. That's significant. But when you said you had it a month ago, but you hadn't had them for years, huge hit. Your mom was with you, eating with them, sitting with you when you were eating them chips.
It was at it was at a Subway, Subway sandwich shop, and that was one of the side things I had. Ruffles potato chips with my sandwich. So I haven't had them in a while.
But now she showed me a decent sized bag. It didn't look like a small bag of Ruffles.
No, this one was about the one that was a big big above the 99-cent one. Obviously, I mean it's a bigger one.
Okay, yeah, because I wasn't seeing. Excuse me, I wasn't seeing a small bag.
Yeah.
So I mean, so that's to me that's a nice connection. That's your mom's way. Again, connecting with you again in that fashion. And what they do is when they know this is going to happen, they have ideas what they want to discuss and talk and bring up, and then they bring it through to me to bring it through to you and to those that need to hear it. And I will say I thank your mom because she definitely at least shows that this is real and that it means a lot. It just shows that her love didn't end, John. It's still there. Whether it be through me or through anybody else, I believe I'm the chosen one in the way to bring this to other people, as you are the chosen one to hear it from your mom. And that's just a joy to do. And I think your mom, I don't think I could top anything than the tarantula because I think to me that was extremely personal, and she knew you loved that more than anything.
I was like,
Yeah,
I was gonna say that was definitely see, I met you through a mutual friend of ours, and so I never he never knew about the story about me having a spider. I mean, I never sat down and talked to him about that. That I have no recalling that he had any knowledge of that. So I mean, the odds of you striking that again, just striking it randomly, is basically like you said, it's basically like you won the lottery.
I got something here, Johnny, and I think that's kind of funny here. But it's similar to such. She's showing me a wine bottle with a cork on it, and on that cork, she's showing me that somehow, at first it was as if the cork was having trouble coming off, is what she was showing me in my mind. And then she made it as if it hit somebody in the eye or in the face area. Would you recall something like that ever happening? Why she's bringing that up?
No, that could be something she experienced with in her own life. Before I came around or without me being around, I can't recall anybody being hit by a cork though.
Let me see what else she's saying. And she's telling me there was not too long ago that there was a discussion on your show, because I know nothing about what shows you produce or anything, but other than the fact of what you have listed. But she says to talk to you about the wrestler that had the huge arms or biceps. What the heck is with that?
Well, we do have wrestlers coming in. I mean, we have a show that's called Figure 4 Radio with Pure Pro Wrestling Stars Xavier Justice and Father Time, and we've had some bigger guys come in here. They're bigger guys. They're with the Pure Pro Wrestling group.
She makes it sound like not too long ago there was a discussion. My God, this guy's arms are huge. That hadn't been brought up.
It might have.
I just
Well, it's like I record the shows, but a lot of times somebody calls me during the show and I have to turn the volume down on the monitor, so I don't get to hear everything. So that's very possible. I mean, but we do have wrestlers that come in here and do a show on a weekly basis. So.
Well, what was your from the last show to as of this one now? But what was your take on the show? I mean, was there feedback? I mean, how did people think? Oh, especially the people that got the readings. I mean, how did they react? What did they think, and what did they say?
Kara and the guy that she had, her friend that was here with her, they're both talking about it yet, and Kara was just really impressed at the fact that there was so much clarity and so much accuracy, I should say, accuracy and stuff that you said, and there's so much I mean, you could, if you saw the reaction, she actually, brought tears to her eyes when they, you had the connection to those children that, had passed. And so, I mean, I think the first show to me was like, it was really astonishing, the accuracy. I mean, it was for the accuracy. It was just very astonishing because, like I said, there's so many things that, given, you'd have to randomly have these things, these scenarios, possible scenarios going through your head rapidly, so fast that you just choose one randomly, but having it be able to be applied to a human life is extremely difficult. Like I said, like you would say, astronomical.
Your mom is telling me that anybody can relate to a name. But this has to be so significant that it has to be close to heart. Because she's telling me, and she's not just saying it once to me. As you're talking, she says, say this. I don't want to say it. She says, say it. Because sometimes I hold back and think, oh, God, maybe I get more. Let me see what they're going to give me more before I say it. She's telling me to say to you, Gus. You know what Gus is? I don't know.
She had an uncle named Gus. She had an uncle named.
Really?
She did have an uncle named Gus. Yes.
Okay. Well, he's coming through with her.
Well, okay.
They're bringing Gus through. They're bringing Gus through for you, because see, now that's significant. That was her uncle, and he's passed. And there's also, hold on a second, there's also acknowledgement of Camel cigarettes. So either Gus smoked Camel cigarettes, but there's a Camel cigarette connection in that circle.
Yeah, that what I would know, because I know they also, back in that era, most people smoked. When he was a youngster, he was a
right. But it would have to be Camel cigarettes connected to him if we're still connected to Gus. And they're also telling me, hold on, if this is Gus still, hold on. It's weird because he's showing me, if this is him, he's showing me telephone wire lines. So either he works for the telephone company, or he did electrical work with the wires, but he's showing me this.
I don't know what his job was, but I know my mom worked for the telephone company at one time.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, she worked.
Well, we got them both going teeter-totter back and forth. So what happens here is, I think your mom, she brought him through, because Gus seems to be very, I don't know how he was over here, but he seems extremely shy to come forward to me, to talk. But your mom has no problem.
Well, see,
and that's why she kept saying, Gus. I'm like, okay, I'll say
Gus. That's astonishing there, because, I mean, okay, again, all the possibility of names you got out there, and you pull, Gus comes to you. I mean, it's like, that's my mom's uncle. I mean, so, I mean, that's just, that's...
hold on, let me see if they can give me, even though I know I got him by saying that and a few other things, let me just see if they can give me something, just a little more to validate that it is Gus here. Let me see. You have to check this out unless you know, but they're telling me to talk about the tumor. So either Gus had a tumor, or it's your mom again saying she had a tumor, but I'm not getting that. It's making me feel more in the realm that it was from Gus. And hold on. And they're telling me to talk about the voice, the vocal cord. So somebody had literally throat cancer, something problems with the vocal cord area, connected to Gus.
I think that might have been Gus. I mean, I can't recall. I can't recall what Gus died of, but he was an older man. I mean, he was my uncle he was my great uncle actually. It was my grandfather's brother. So
right, but you need if some way you can validate that, I would like.
Yeah, I see if I could talk. I could talk to family members and see if they can recall what Gus passed away from. But I believe it was an illness. I mean, he had it for some time before he did die with it. I mean, I remember that.
And hold on. And your mom is telling me to say the nanny to you, not the TV show nanny, but I mean the nanny. Why is she saying nanny to you?
Well, we had my sister and I, we're twins, and my mom, we did have basically a woman who was kind of like a nanny briefly to help my mom out because we were going through a bout of illnesses as babies, and they brought in an older woman. Yeah, and I guess that would have been the role. We never really called her nanny, but she was, she did that kind of work. I mean, for my parents,
Well, your mom's calling her nanny, and I'm not making me feel like the nanny is passed or anything. If she is, they're not telling me that, but they're telling me your mom's acknowledging, talk about the nanny. She's very clear when she comes through, and I can just pretty much say what she's saying, not through thought process. Let me see what else she got. So you're pretty much getting the full reading here, which is okay. You know, I mean, it's just your mom's way of, you know, letting you know she's always around you, whether it be with the Ruffles potato chips or just in general. Okay, here we go. She's telling me to talk to you also about iodine. Did you recently do something with iodine?
No, it's like
Okay, you talked with your sister on this because it's very clear to me. She's telling me, like the old mercurochrome iodine that you would put on a wound.
I know my mom didn't like it, mercurochrome. I mean, she hated that.
Well,
She thought that was painful.
and that's not significant to me because you can either not like it. It's got to be a head hit, and there's got to be more to it why she's bringing that up.
Right.
Hold on. She's telling me recently pork chops were made, and the pork chops were cooked just right that you could literally, the meat was so tender, you could cut it just right. Why is she showing me that?
Because, again, it's like one of those things that pork chops is not something I really liked as a kid. You know, I really didn't, I try to stay away from pork, and about a year ago I had a set of some pork chops at one of the chain restaurants, Bob Evans, and it was amazing. And then I went over to a friend's house about a month and a half ago, and that's what they served was stuffed pork chops, and they were amazing as well. So I mean, that's significant because she knows that I usually stayed away from pork products, so that's significant because I usually don't eat pork.
But once these pork chops, very like literally, I mean, as you cut them, they were like slivers. They were easy to cut.
They were very good. I mean, they were stuffed pork chops. They got them from a local butcher shop there. They stuff them there and then they bring home. Yeah, they were just amazing. They were really good.
That could be your mom's way again of acknowledging that she was with you at that time and knowing that you don't like it, but at that particular instance, she was with you while you were eating it again, and eating it, enjoying it. You know, that's her way of acknowledging that. Hold on. She's also telling me to acknowledge Bobby, Bobby, whoever Bobby is. Who would that be in the circle?
Oh, there's about 2 or 3 Bobbies because my brother had a couple of friends named Bob.
Acknowledging. Don't tell me no more. Let me see which one she's acknowledging. And it says Bobby, correct?
Right.
Okay. She's telling me now that I'm going to acknowledge that this is to one of the Bobbies. She's telling me to talk about the mechanic. So either one of the ones connected to Bobby is the mechanic.
Okay.
Do you understand that?
Yeah, it's like well, actually, yeah. I don't want to give away too much because I think you're onto something. But Bobby that I'm thinking of now, when you said mechanic, he actually worked at a auto parts store. So.
Okay. Now who would that be to her?
Well, basically, it was like he was a neighborhood kid. It was my brother's friend. You know, they were friends, and they lived right here in the neighborhood. And basically, he became like another kid to my mom. He was around all the time.
This is going to be significant that she's talking about Bobby. Either this, or you just recently came across these. She's showing me some humongous-sized tennis shoes. Now, either this Bobby wore some huge. He had some big feet.
Well, you know.
Either he did, huh?
Well, it's. I don't, I can't recall him having big feet. I mean, when I was a kid, though, that was a running joke. My brother had friends that had big feet, so I can't recall if it was Bobby.
No, so that wouldn't be for that. Right. She was literally leading me to believe either this is something you recently encountered with the big feet, big tennis shoes, and was talked about, or with Bobby, because that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So if you can recall that, we'll see where else is she going to go here. She's also telling me to talk to someone that was a hairstylist and that made their hair really like a Bowie, like bushy up, and did an excellent job at this. She's. Do you know where she's going with that?
No, I don't know.
Okay, no, hold on. She's also acknowledging Anne, A-N-N-E.
No.
And now with this, we're still on this now, I believe. She's telling me to talk about clover, like a 4-leaf clover. She's showing me a clover. Why would she be showing me that?
She was big. She was big into clovers, Anthony. She liked looking for them. She liked looking for clovers in the 4-leaf clovers in the summertime. I mean, she'd go out in the yard and she'd actually go down to the ground and look for quite a while. I mean, she found 2 of them. I think that I recall. She found 2 4-leaf clovers.
Well, that's significant because in my one lifetime, that's all I have was one lifetime here. But no, I found somebody found one for me a long time ago, and to be significant that anybody goes out and find 4-leaf clover is not a norm because it's hard to find them, let alone someone to actually take the time and the patience, as your mom did, to find the 4-leaf clover. And hold on, she's also telling me to talk to you about Dunkin's. What's with Dunkin's? Not Dunkin' Donut, Dunkin's. Duncans.
Nope, I can't. That's
again.
Yeah.
Check with your sister on that to see if maybe she recently did something or something. And wait, hold on. Well, this is strange. I'm trying to see how to describe this. So she's giving it to me. She's talking to me to talk about the X-ray that was done on the chest, but she's literally showing me as if one of the organs was lower than it should be. It made me feel like the heart was dropped a little. I don't know why she's showing me that.
Yeah, I don't either. That's like that one's. I'm drawing a blank on that one because I mean
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, I was going to say though, I want to talk a little bit more about your future, kind of shows and or what other your possibilities are. So I mean, what we're going to do is, well, I just want the listeners to know that we're going to have a plan where Anthony's going to be on, online here, and then maybe we'll bring other people into the studio and do other readings in the future, and we'll hopefully work out eventually where you can actually be at the studio talking with these people in person. So, is there any more that you want to add to that, or is that pretty much your same plans to Anthony, or what?
No, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I would love to, those that are interested can contact through you, the station, and, if we get to the point where they want to come into the studio for a personal reading, they can go through the process of contacting you, and we'll make all the arrangements to make that happen and give them, reading and the cost and the amount and the actual what the reading incurs and to what you can expect out of it. And the most important thing is what you get out of it.
Right.
And yeah, you pretty much covered all that. I want to add that your mother, again, when you were saying all that, she came to me and talked to you about this bat. And we're talking about a mammal bat, not a baseball bat. What's with this bat?
Well, my brother and I did have a pet bat briefly. He caught it.
Oh my God! Are you serious?
He caught a pet bat. He caught a bat in our old it was a barn, and he and I kept it for a few days. We didn't. They're awfully hard to feed, so you have to really But anyway,
the
we let it go.
important thing on that, though, John, is you were getting a lot of the reading. How often do you talk to your brother?
About once every couple months, and we don't talk much. He lives in another area.
Okay. Well, if in turn you do, and you bring up, and you could say you talk to this one guy, your mom wanted to give that to him.
Okay.
Because she didn't give him anything. That's why she was stressing on the bat, and she kind of, when you started talking, she, interrupted on that to make sure she came across on that.
Yeah, because
I guess I wanted to ask you, because, that sounds like a great idea, and I'm all for it. But what did you like today? How did today go, and what did you perceive, and what you were able to understand?
Well, the cheese, that was a big thing because that was like a family legend. I mean, with that big wheel cheese because we had it for several months. We gave away chunks of it. We used it in all kinds of dishes, and then also the bat, obviously this one right now, and Uncle Gus. I mean and Maxine. I mean right there, those four just jump off the page because Maxine's not that common name. Gus in this era certainly is not a common name. And some other stuff there. I mean, there's the connections about throat cancer. I think he was a smoker. I mean, back then that was that was a prevalent thing for men at that age bracket to do. But the name Gus with that, I mean, kind of, you can look at a demographic and say historically that was who was a smoker. But name Gus was, it was common at one point, but I don't know how many people walk around thinking the name of Gus now,
Right, and I like the ruffles.
Yeah.
The ruffles and the pork chops. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, the pork chops too. Right, the pork chops.
And your daughter. I'm sorry.
Yeah, pork chop was significant because for 20-some years I didn't even eat pork. I wouldn't even touch it. Because I had a bad experience with it, and I thought that was my system didn't deal well with pork, so I just refused to touch it. I mean, I had it was disgusting to go into, but I got so sick. I mean, it was horrible, and so it might have been bad pork, but it turned me off of pork for a long time. I wouldn't touch it. So
Wow, that's amazing. And I find it fascinating because the whole highlight of doing this is, I like I said, seeing the joy on people's faces, and having my own family and children, and just in turn seeing how many other people I've helped in my time frame is a blessing. And I just say to anybody else that really wants to understand that it just does not end here. It continues on. And my faith in God, I believe in Him. Doesn't mean anybody else has to, but I know in my heart what I've gotten because of Him. And the most important thing is exactly what it's about. It's about love.
Right.
And if you can share that with other people in a nice, kind, and honest way, and be humble to people, not only because it's the holiday, but just in general, the most important thing is to treat people with love and respect. If you can do that, then you got it. And I find that that's how, by doing that, for the most part, I mean, I have weaknesses like anybody else, but for the most part, when you do that, you'd be surprised how things not only come to you, such like these, but good things usually come back. And they don't necessarily have to come back. It's just to do good, just to do good. So I just hope I touched some people's lives along with your own today. And I really had a great time again, and I really appreciate it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart giving me the opportunity for another air show. And I look forward to whatever comes in the future with this. And I can't, again, stress my happiness and thankfulness for allowing this to happen.
Well, thank you, Anthony. And we'll wrap this up. And you have a good day there, and we'll definitely talk to you soon, okay?
Sounds good. And take care now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, people. You heard the thing there about Anthony, and you also, I would say, pretty alarming accuracy of his reading there. So, if you're interested, please contact us at the studio number 810-208-1854 and leave a message that you'd like to contact him and for reading, and we'll get a hold of him that way for you. And anyway, you all have a good day, and I hope you have a good upcoming weekend. Thank you very much.